Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Riley K. Jones. I'm a writer, teacher, and author tuber. And today we're going to celebrate my 1 year anniversary on Authortube. So today's video is going to be a little bit more of a chatty video, and we're just going to talk about some questions that I think you might have had or might be thinking about if you want to create an Authortube channel, some questions that you might have. So a little bit about why I created this channel. I created this channel mostly to track my progress and see how I did as a writer, to keep motivating myself to become a better writer, and to also just have the accountability to write more frequently. Another reason why I created this channel is I'm a teacher at heart. After being a writer, that is something that I love to do. So anytime I learn something new about writing, I want to continue to share that with you all and to show and see how someone is learning how to write better, mostly just through tips and tricks and advice and what I found worked for me. Now again, and I always put this in my disclaimer at the bottom, writing is a very unique process. There are certain things that work for others and certain things that don't work for others. So anytime you see a writing advice video from myself or from anyone else, it's not 100% guaranteed to work for you. It's not like a prescription that you can just take and just do, and like a scientific model or mathematical equation where those are very rote, like this is how it has to happen. Writing is more of an art, and with art, with any type of thing that you're learning how to do, there are definitely certain rules to follow, but then there are certain things that are just applies to some and not to others. All that being said, what I'm trying to say is that there are rules that you can either bend or don't apply to you. So that was another reason why I wanted to create this channel, was to just have some tips and tricks, what worked for me and what might work for others, and also to teach you guys a little bit about storytelling and also how to fix any issues that you are having in your story. So that's just why I created the channel. I don't think I actually ever put that out there, so I'm putting that out there a year later. Why I created this channel was to have that kind of platform. So 1 was a personal goal, 2 is for your benefit. Another like mini side reason was to also just talk about the books that I'm reading, because I always challenge myself to be reading constantly more. I started that challenge in 2019, reading 19 books in 2019, and I have always added an extra book every year to keep pushing myself to read more. And so that was another reason why I wanted to start this channel, was so I can then talk about what I liked about books, or talk about books that I really didn't like and that they were really trashy, and have a discussion, have conversations with people about books in the reading aspect of them, and also maybe a little bit more of the literary aspect of them as well. So it's kind of like all those things mushed together, which is why I'm a writer, teacher, and author tuber. It's kind of like all those things in one place. So some people have some questions about Authortube. One of them was, does Authortube take away from your writing? Because obviously you have to now film videos and edit videos and wait for them to upload. Does that take time away from writing? Like, couldn't you use that time to write? Well, yeah, I mean, I could use that time to write, and so it's kind of like a yes and no question. Like, it's something, again, like I have said before, it is my hobby. I like to do this, and if I wasn't doing this, to be honest, I would just be scrolling Instagram and YouTube constantly. And what a better use of my time than to create something rather than not create something. And it also helps me personally too. Another reason is I work best when I'm speaking something out loud. I feel like I learn something better if I'm talking to someone about it, and even if it's just a camera, talking about it and getting it out in the open, whether that is doing a book review or talking about a concept of writing, it helps me learn as being a better learner. So It's not really that much of a waste of my time. I feel like I'm helping myself in the long run. Another question is, does Authortube keep myself accountable to writing? So this is a yes and no. This is like a kinda. Like, I feel like, yes, I have participated in some writing sprints, which has definitely helped me be accountable, but sometimes I found myself, oh, when I'm supposed to be writing, I'm actually editing this video because it's a lot longer than I thought it was going to take me to edit. So it sometimes does get in the way of my writing journey, but at the same time, again, I've mentioned this before, it is a hobby of mine. I feel like my main motivator this year was author mentor match, because I had a deadline with an actual physical person who was checking in on me and being like, hey, we're gonna have this deadline at this time. And that has really motivated me. And you can see like all these little vlogs that I have done that really helped me in that process. And I was able to do 2 full revisions in 2020 alone, and I'm going to be doing another revision in just a few weeks to better help that manuscript. So although I think Authortube definitely did take some time away from that, it also is really cool to look back and see some patterns that I've fallen into with my mind, even of being like, this is trash, but then like 2 weeks later being like, I like this thing now. It just goes to show that you are your worst critic, and then when you have a fresh perspective, or like when you're talking with someone who is not in your headspace and reads it and it's like, this is fine, it's like, oh, okay. Or being like, this thing that you thought was fine is not okay. It was just great to have that feedback with Author Mentor Match, but then also seeing my documentation of my process is really quite cool to see, like, oh yeah, I really thought this thing was trash and I was really down on myself because I couldn't think of anything better, and then 2 days later I thought of something much better than the last thing. So that has been really fascinating for me just to see and go through. And then you can, at home, you can also feel the same feelings that I'm feeling while you're writing, but then know that, you know, you're not alone. People like you struggle with writing. It is definitely it's definitely like a process where we are human and we sometimes feel like overwhelmed with the work, but like once you go through that hard work and you see the end product, it's really cool to look back upon and be like, oh yeah, I thought that thing was hard, but that hard thing made me do something even better. Kind of like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know that's kind of cliche now, but it's true in a way of being like, when you put yourself through hard times, you come out a better person. And so I feel like through these processes, I've become out not only a better person, but a better writer. So I was successful this year in posting, I was almost successful. I posted a video about once a week for an entire year. There were like at least 2 weeks where I did forget to post a video, but then I posted 2 some other weeks. So that was really neat for myself, just to see that yes, even in my busy life schedule as a teacher, I can film a video and edit it and get it out there once a week. And that has been enjoyable. Another not secret, but like another cool thing about me is I do love video editing and video media. It has been something that I've been fascinated with ever since YouTube was started in 2007. I think it was started in, maybe a little bit before that, but in my junior high years, that's when I really started to take notice of YouTube and the aspect of video editing. And so I might be dating myself by saying that, but I've always been fascinated with filming videos, making videos, editing videos. It's something that I've always loved. So that was another kind of personal thing that I just really love about YouTube. And if you don't love that, if you don't love video storytelling, if you don't like editing and you think it's horrible, there are 2 options for you. 1, don't start a YouTube channel. Or 2, you can hire an editor. A friend of mine who was thinking of going into YouTube, he's decided to take the editor route because he's not as familiar with editing and things like that of that nature. So it's a question that if you want to become a YouTuber, whether you're specifically on Authortube or BookTube or any other type of a tube that a YouTube channel, a YouTube offers, think about what you like to do. Can you afford an editor? If you can do the editor route, like what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish when if you're thinking about creating a YouTube channel? For me, when I was starting that routine, it was hard because I hadn't had video edited in a while, like at least a good 3 or 4 years. So I was a little bit out of practice. But once I got into the routine of doing it and finding tricks and like making the process faster and just really crafting that skill again, now I've gotten into a kind of flow of like, okay, I know it's gonna take me about this amount of time, and if I have this amount of video to edit, it's gonna take me this amount of time, things like that. If you are interested in more tips and tricks on even just how to like, what is my like routine and all of that jazz, and like how do I edit videos and things like that, let me know in the comments below and we can get that video made in the future. So what are my initial thoughts about Authortube? I've been seeing here and there about like how Authortube is dying, which is kind of silly thing. Like a lot of people saying, oh, Authortube is dying, and like it's not really dying. It's just depending on what you are wanting your channel to be. If you want to become like a big, huge, successful YouTube channel like PewDiePie, for example, like Authortube is not really the place for that. So it's not really dying, it's just what you want it to be. For me, I wanted to have that connection with other people, and again, I love filming and that's just a hobby that I have, so it works better for me to have Authortube, to have that type of platform, and also just to stand up when needed and talk about things that need to be talked about. Like I do enjoy that, and it's something that I just enjoy, so even if it's dying, it's whatever. And like the big reason for me filming these videos is to make connections. So I've already made a few connections here and there, and I absolutely love that. I also love the live writing sessions, writing sprints that some Authortubers do, and I like to jump in on those and write with other people, because I find for myself, if I have outside accountability, I work so much better than when I don't have outside accountability. And comparatively, it's like I do work, like I'm gonna admit, I do work pretty decent by myself, but I do find myself working even harder and better if I have some outside accountability. So whether it's someone saying like, this is your deadline, or just being with a group of people who are all working together, I find myself more on task. So what are some things to expect from me in the future regarding Authortube? So I would love to continue my vlogs. I have been doing that quite a bit, so you will see some more vlog content from me. I do hope to also put out some more writing tips and tricks videos out there, and also maybe documenting my process on how to write a book from the beginning, because I'm in that process right now of writing a new book from the beginning, and probably going to documenting some of the struggles that I have, so that way you can also see that, you know, writing a book, normally when we look at the books on our shelves, we grab one, it's like, oh, how can we ever write one of these things? It's so perfect. Well, you didn't see all the behind the scenes of struggling and working through, and the painstaking hours and numerous drafts that went into making something so nice and pretty and sparkly and shiny. Like, it's definitely a process that people don't see often. So I'm going to try to, in my vlogs, show you guys a little bit about the process, so you know you're not alone, and when you can continue to push yourself and work hard, you too can accomplish writing that novel or creating that next best thing. If you guys have any more questions about Authortube or my Authortube journey or books in general, you can leave so down in the comments down below. And if you like this video, you can make sure to give this video a nice big thumbs up. It lets me know that you like videos like this one. And if you haven't already, click subscribe. I release new videos on all things writing and reading every Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your support this year. Keep writing, keep reading, and stay creative. Bye guys!